Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week: the rights of in-person worship versus COVID lockdown rules. The Harrison Quarry idea is almost buried. Concern that COVID is adding on to the domestic violence count, and soccer, racism, and a Chilliwack connection. Special guests this week include Patti MacAhonic from the Ann Davis Transition Society. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. The province banned in-person church worship back on November 19th when the initial mass order for gatherings was issued from the provincial health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry. And since then, 2 churches in Chilliwack and 1 in Langley have defied the order. The Chilliwack churches are now part of an RCMP investigation for defying that order. Those same 2 churches, the Free Grace Baptist Church and Free Reformed Church, were open again this past weekend, with pastors and congregations stating they had a right to in-person worship. Chilliwack RCMP is not commenting on this, as Crown is now looking into the case. People in Harrison remain overjoyed that a proposed gravel mine did not receive federal clearance and won't operate on Hot Springs Road. The company that applied for the permit has an option to appeal the decision. Harold Bruins and Lauren Mitchell from the group Friends of Agassiz Harrison spearheaded this protest, and they had the backing from the Harrison Mayor, Leo Fascio. Now, as of this broadcast, the permit holder has not made a decision on any legal appeal. However, chillTV has learned that any legal option could be filed within the next couple of weeks, and that window is still open. Here's a twist: someone that won't run in the next federal election. Previous Liberal candidate Kelly Willows, from her media statement, and I quote, "I am engaged as the executive director for the Chilliwack and District Seniors Resource Society, and like many other nonprofits, we are learning to adapt and pivot to sustain and enhance programs crucial for the most vulnerable of our society. My heart tells me that leading the Seniors Resource Society will require all my focus, my energy, and my attention." Construction started this week along a very busy stretch of Young Road in downtown Chilliwack, just off 5 Corners, and the BC Hydro work will continue until the first week of February. While this won't create any planned power blackouts, it will be a traffic nightmare, and you are asked to respect the flaggers and please be patient. The BC Coroner Service has scheduled an inquest into the death of Lindsay Harvey Gautier starting February 1st. The death of the 45-year-old Gautier was reported to the BC Coroner Service on April 6, 2016, following a police-involved incident in downtown Chilliwack. Under a section of the Coroner's Act, inquests are mandatory for any death that occurs while a person was detained by or in the custody of a peace officer. Gautier's widow, Angela, who is well known in real estate circles, wants closure and people to know that her late husband was a good man, a family man. He simply made some bad choices. Back on December the 1st, the Ann Davis Transition Society, in partnership with the RCMP Domestic Violence Unit, Wilma House, Pearl Renewal Society, and Stallo Women, opened a project in Chilliwack called the Willow Room, a safe and supported place for women and kids to report domestic violence, sexual or gender-based violence to the RCMP. This has a crisis worker for support in a trauma-informed, culturally sensitive, and supportive environment. This at the Ann Davis Transition Society Administration Office. To talk more about this project and domestic violence during COVID, Patti MacAhonic, the Executive Director for the Ann Davis Society.
Wasting away, watching clouds float by my window.
chillTV's News of the Week, and joining us is Patti MacAhonic, who is the Executive Director of the Ann Davis Transition Society. Patti, I want to touch base on Willow Room in just a minute, but first, disturbing stories over the last few weeks about domestic abuse, about the stress level, add to COVID, add on to that Christmas time, and you're the front line. You are seeing and hearing all of these stories. How bad is it?
Well, every year, Christmas is a more difficult time for people. I mean, people are isolated. Everybody's in the same home. Usually there's alcohol and, more alcohol involved. When you a lot of people think of Christmas or holidays, they think of the tree and all of the nice things, but for women that are in abusive situations, it's a time where they're on edge and they're just waiting. So, and this is typical across the country and the way it is. This year, with COVID, it adds even more stressors because people are in real lockdown. So you'll have no families available to connect with and that. So people are even more isolated. Typically what happens over Christmas is our numbers might be a little lower for coming into the house because, women really try to hold it together for the children. People really want to have a nice Christmas. But the fact is it just doesn't work out that way. And then we get a huge flood of people coming in right after Christmas. Since COVID, our crisis calls, people in crisis, our numbers are up 43.7%. Yeah. We are fairly full right now. We're not full to the top, but we're usually lesser numbers this time of year right now, but we're actually fuller numbers, so higher numbers in the houses. So we're finding with COVID, women that are coming in, they're waiting longer before they come in. So when they come in, their injuries are much more severe and they're in worse shape. So it's really difficult. And I have a fabulous team, and so do I think most service workers in this sector.
I want to get from that team to what you are doing now with Willow Room. Because this is a phenomenal program, and this just started December the 1st. Tell me more about Willow Room.
I'm really excited about this project. This is something we've been wanting to do for a long time, and we have been able to partner. So we have the partnership is what makes this work. So we partnered with the RCMP Domestic Violence Unit, and Kathleen Filabrenza is heading that. And then we've invited Wilma House, our Indigenous counterpart, Pearl Society, who works with women that are sexually exploited. And then we also work with Stall Women. So what we do is, what we want to make sure is that we're well represented, so anyone that comes in feels that they're safe and they belong. And what the Willow Room is it's referred to as a soft reporting room. So instead of women and children going to the RCMP to make a report, they would call the RCMP, call 911, and say, I want to make my report at the Willow Room. We have a full-time 24/7 staff. We have a room that is set up to be trauma-informed, culturally appropriate, and a very warm atmosphere. And women can bring someone with them. We will have a staff member present, and then the RCMP will be there. So a much safer and supported. So we want to make sure that when women come in to report, that they're not further re-traumatized and they're not further victimized, that they feel safe. I don't know if you know them.
And all of this information is up on your social media as well?
Yes. And
okay.
Typically the numbers are 10% of domestic violence and, sexualized violence and violence against women is reported. Only 10%.
Yeah. And we want to get that out there, that this is a safe haven and everything is confidential. Patti, we will be talking about this in depth as we go along, and you and your crew there at Ann Davis are always welcome here. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Don Lehn, and you're watching chillTV's News of the Week. Racism in sports is nothing new. In this case, it does hit close to home. Chilliwack FC grad, 19-year-old Jordan Huttema, plays pro in Paris. She's dating former Vancouver Whitecap 20-year-old Alphonso Davies, who is now a major star with Bayern Munich. Jordan posted a picture of the dating couple on Instagram. And that's when the hate started. She's white, he's black, and Canada Soccer had to get involved and made a media statement to shut down the haters. Jordan took the high road, saying, and I'm quoting, "We will never see the good in the world if all we see is the color of each other's skin." She said in a subsequent post, "We are all part of one race, the human race." chillTV has reached out to both Jordan and Chilliwack FC for further comment. The BC Hockey League has a public relations situation on its hands. The provincial health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, has already shut down adult sports for the time being. Well, the BC Hockey League has adults who are 19 and 20 in their league. And according to Commissioner Chris Hebb, that means they can't even practice with their younger teammates. Hebb said that is not fair, and the league is appealing. Some critics are calling that simply asking for a favor. The controversy continues. According to Hebb, this stems from one beer league team near the BC-Alberta border who simply crossed into that province for a pickup game, and therefore the new order came into place. chillTV weather, it's a typical December soaking and the high of 8. If you'd like to participate in reporting news in Chilliwack and you have a story you think we should know about, send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. We'd love to hear from you. That's the news this week. I'm Don Lehn.